So I wanted to create a timeless photo that documented a moment within lowrider culture. We had David Oropesa, who's also known as Compton David. He's just, kind of an OG in the lowrider scene, very well respected. So naturally, I wanted to capture a portrait of David, and rather than using the car as the focal point of the image, I used it as more of a compositional element. And I had him lean out to give that natural kind of dramatic feel of half of his face being lit while the other half sort of falls into shadow. Going into the shoot, conceptually, I knew I wanted to create an image or a series of images that were timeless. I wanted to document the LA lowrider culture in a way that could have been decades ago when it started or in present day. So that's why I utilized the black and white feel for the composition. It also plays on the grayscale kind of black and white tattoo culture that's so big in the lowrider movement as well. The environment around this photograph was actually really hectic, pretty difficult shooting conditions. So my favorite frame that I found was one where I actually had to shoot in the middle of the street with oncoming traffic. For this particular shoot, I did have two bodies, my primary being on the 16-55 and my secondary being on the 56-1.2, which is my favorite lens for kind of the close-up, more intimate portraits. So for the f-stop on this one, I think I was working so quickly that I ended up at a 3.6. For the shutter speed on this image, it was 1/250th. The ISO for this image was 80. Whenever I can, I like to keep it as low as possible. After a shoot, I offload all my photos onto a hard drive, and then I drag the photo into Lightroom from that respective day, go in, pick my selects directly through Lightroom, and then begin grading. For the photograph itself, once I kind of found that balance of black and white, grayscale kind of look that I was going for, it was mainly just some subtle little radial filters, minor little clarity, highlights, shadow adjustments to make sure that the feel was what I was going for. I definitely leaned into a little bit more of a high contrast feel for it. Wanted to make sure the blacks were nice and rich, to really kind of feel the emotion sort of offset the lighting pattern that was on his face. I think when capturing humans, the first and most important thing that you have to do as a photographer is kind of make yourself vulnerable to that and have an equal and mutual kind of respect for the person that's in front of your lens, whether they know it or not. Super important to be observant of the little things. Picking up on all those different little elements allows you to capture an image that's true to scale. So for David, being able to chat with him and kind of get on the same page allowed us to still get some cool photographs. And I think that's because of being observant and being able to understand when you can ask the questions, when you should take the photographs rather than just jumping into it, which I think is the disconnect that people sometimes have when taking portraits.